Very dangerous. About this, justify everything movement and the heart work in the movement.
Hey, Bill. Yeah. Wow, a bit of water.
It wants to make a big tornado. Keep going.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. If it makes one, it's going to be dead ahead. Get out for a minute. You can get out for a minute here. Stay close to the car.
Oh God. Something. Nobody.
Steep drop off.
Yes. Go now.
Watch the drop off, Tom.
Life is a storm. Just big cyclone. Right way. Right.
Wow, look at the clouds.
Move now.
Sweet! Closer! Closer!
Stronger cloud.
Is that another one to the left?
I hope people will
Wow. It's a monster.
Absolutely.
hail. Be careful.
Fuck, everything went out. Hear me now? You filming?
Not today.
Alright, let's get going again.
Pull in.
Go.
Go. Again.
Might be wires stuff on the road.
How far away was that? Half a mile?
Mile or two. You can easily hear it. Very easy. Be careful on this one.
Yeah.
At least we had a huge tornado near Capitol. Very large wedge.
I see it, it's coming.
very cloud. That
Sky mark! Sky mark! Sky mark! You're protecting these people! We're out of gas! About to! About to run out of gas!
this area.
Look out! Okay. See the debris, right? Get out of the car, Sweetus!
From the terrifying moment a Navy exercise nearly takes a deadly turn, to monster waves in the North Sea smashing an oil tanker and a merchant Navy ship caught in a Force 12 storm. Here are 5 ships that were caught in rough seas. Number 5. The North Sea is a marginal sea of the Atlantic Ocean, located between the coasts of Norway and Denmark to the east and British Isles to the west, and Germany, the Netherlands, Belgium, and France to the south. The waters of the North Sea are quite irregular as a current from the north and a current from the south converge. As a result, there's a lot of rain and fog throughout the year, and it is plagued by violent storms that make it dangerous to navigate. On February 28th, a chemical tanker was caught in a vast storm crossing the North Atlantic Ocean between America and Europe. The extreme weather lasted for more than 3 days. During this, the crew managed to capture the moment they came face to face with monster waves. The captain of the ship is constantly on alert to avoid being hit by one of these waves from the sides, as the force could be enough to capsize the ship. Still, the beating the sea had on this ship was no joke. You can even hear things flying onto the ground in the background. Luckily, this wasn't their first rodeo. After some more battling, the crew escaped the storm and made it to their destination safely. Number 4. Depth of about 24,390 feet, or 7,434 meters, and temperatures between 25 and 50 degrees Fahrenheit, or -2 and -10 degrees Celsius, the Southern Ocean is known for its harsh weather conditions. In February of 2021, a naval patrol boat was out on a training exercise in the Southern Ocean when things nearly took a deadly turn. What was supposed to be a routine mission quickly turned into chaos as the small dinghy was no match for the power of the sea.
Recover Port Stevo, recover Port Stevo.
Clean the corners, bro.
According to the cameraman, entering such a rough and dangerous sea was ultimately the wrong decision. Had the crew needed rescuing, it would have been extremely difficult to get men into the water to help. Luckily, the entire crew was able to hold strong and made it back to land safely. Number 3. Typically, when you think of ships, you'd imagine the larger they are, the better they would fare under extreme conditions, right? Well, if so, you'd be correct. But that doesn't mean they still can't take a hefty beating. Back on August 16th of 2021, a massive oil tanker was traveling through the North Sea when a storm formed. There was nothing they could do besides wait and hope for the best. On August 16th, 2021, a tanker had to sail through a massive storm in ballast conditions with a speed of 70 to 80 knots. The scene shows the tanker bobbing among the fearsome waves of this mythical sea that has claimed the lives of thousands of sailors. The storm they were facing rated as a 12 on the Beaufort scale, the highest possible ranking. At this point, winds are of hurricane force, and in this instance were reported to be between 70 and 80 knots. As you might expect, nobody was injured, but man, those waves sure are enough to make even the strongest seaman a little woozy. Number 2. Seeing monster waves from outside a ship is one thing, and I'll admit, it's probably the best part. But sometimes, seeing what goes on inside can be just as exciting. Around March 3rd of 2020, passengers on board showing us what it's like to be on a cruise in one of these fierce storms.
No, something.
The video was shot somewhere between France and Ireland, and thankfully, the man in the chair who went flying was okay. Videos like these really make you wonder how much cargo gets destroyed every time they encounter some big waves. Aftermath footage shows the damage done to vehicles and trucks on board the ferry. I've got to admit, the level of destruction on some of them is astounding. After seeing this video, I think I'm all set on sailing for a while. Number 1. Slew of conditions come together to form some powerful storms, and it's in one of these storms when this next video was shot. On January 19, 2019, a 12,000-ton merchant navy ship was on its way from France to the UK through the Bay of Biscay when it ran into some bad weather. Little did they know at the time, but that bad weather was actually a Force 12 storm.
Yeah, that's it.
It's photo.
No, that's recording. See, that's recording.
After the storm passed, the crew noticed some serious damage to the ship and its cargo. I guess that's what happens when you are hammered by wave after wave for hours on end. This sea is notorious for shipwrecks over the years, so it's good that the crew in this video didn't suffer a similar fate. While everything was flooded, everyone on board was able to make to their port safely. Well, that's all we have for today. If you have a clip you want to see featured on the channel, you can send in your submissions to the link down below, or go to submit.monthlyfails.tv. Otherwise, click the link on screen now to see more videos just like this. And with that, we will catch you in the next one.
Hello there, and welcome to the Unbelievable.
Why we play the game? Why we play the game?
Here is Mother Nature showing her might as well as her beauty.
Porca puttana! Attenzione, attenzione! Porca mia!
Some drivers in Spain get a free car wash. There's also a guy that seems completely unfazed by the madness around him. Waves over 10 meters high hit a coastal town in Spain.
Yeah.
This jetty is gonna need a few repairs after this.
Там мы ныряли. Все попереломано. Вау, накрывает. Все попереломано.
Strong waves in Portugal decide to give some garbage bins a good clean. A massive wave hits a holiday resort in Mexico.
¡Sálganse de la alberca!
¿Esos zapatos de qué son? ¿No son girados? ¿Tus zapatos? ¡Oh, déjalo!
Excessive downpour of rain in South India resulted in a massively wild waterfall.
Happy day.
A monster wave is recorded in Spain in 2014. This couple and their dog think they are a safe distance away from the waves, but you should never underestimate the power of the ocean.
So liquefied.
Hostia, ahí sí que hay ya.
Two girls enjoy the waves of sea foam at a beach in Newcastle, Australia.
Ragazzi.
A coastal town in England gets quite flooded during high tide and rough seas.
La gente aquí está espantada. Mira, mira, mira. No, esta, vámonos.
No llega.
No, porque está reventando antes.
Mira, no, sí. Mira.
Ay, los perritos, por Dios, por Dios.
Si decimos es a correr, ¿eh?
Sí, no quedarse.
Here is the result of a typhoon hitting Taiwan in 2009. Here is footage of the Pacific Ocean during a cyclone. Gigantic swells crash onto the road during a storm in Italy.
Woohoo!
Itu banyak itu kan kok.
High tides are recorded flooding a port in Spain.
Mira, mira, mira. Uy, uy. ¡Dios! ¡Madre mía! Bueno, 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 bueno. Mira, es que no hay nada.
Yeah, it's pushing the ice up the bank pretty good here.
The Pacific Ocean demonstrates its incredible power.
That's a shot that you wait years to get.
Or is it too hard?
Check out this fascinating moment of a bay emptying and refilling over a period of less than 2 minutes. Here we see again the mighty force of the ocean. Luckily no one was on this boat.
人乗ってんだいが。
I was wondering why you... Jesus. Look at that, Dave. Look at that.
Stormy waters wreak havoc on some houses in Ireland. Here is your classic beach wedding photo shoot, but with a little twist.
She's laughing.
Italian beachgoers get a little surprised during their sunbaking session. A pier in North Yorkshire gets overwhelmed by the dominant sea.
Dude, how gnarly is it? Look at that. This one's a big one. Watch out. Oh no. Oh no. Gnarly. Look at that. Oh.
This is what happens when there's a strong earthquake in Japan. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time on The Unbelievable.
A powerful storm brought drenching rain or heavy snowfall to much of California on Saturday, snarling traffic and closing highways as the state prepared to usher in a new year. In the high Sierra Nevada, as much as 2 feet (0.6 meters) of snow could accumulate into early Sunday. The National Weather Service in Sacramento warned about hazardous driving conditions and posted photos on Twitter showing traffic on snow-covered mountain passes, where vehicles were required to have chains or four-wheel drive. The so-called atmospheric river storm was pulling in a long and wide plume of moisture from the Pacific Ocean. Flooding and rock slides closed portions of roads across Northern California. Too many road closures to count at this point, the weather agency in Sacramento said in an afternoon tweet. Sacramento County urged residents in the unincorporated community of Wilton to evacuate, warning that flooded roadways could cut off access to leave the area. Rainfall in downtown San Francisco on Saturday topped 5 inches (12.7 centimeters) at mid-afternoon, making it the second wettest day on record, behind a November 1994 deluge. With rain continuing to fall, it could threaten the nearly 3-decade-old record. The California Highway Patrol said a section of US 101, one of the state's main traffic arteries, was closed indefinitely south of San Francisco because of flooding. Videos on Twitter showed mud-colored water streaming along San Francisco streets, and a staircase in Oakland turned into a veritable waterfall by heavy rains. Weather Service meteorologist Courtney Carpenter said the storm could drop over an inch of rain in the Sacramento area before moving south. One ski resort south of Lake Tahoe closed chair lifts because of flooding and operational problems, and posted a photo on Twitter showing one lift tower and its empty chairs surrounded by water. "We're seeing a lot of flooding," Carpenter said. The Sacramento agency released a map of 24-hour precipitation through Saturday morning, showing a wide range of totals in the region, from less than an inch, 2.54 centimeters, in some areas to more than 5 inches, 12.7 centimeters, in the Sierra foothills. The Mammoth Mountain ski area reported numerous lift closings, citing high winds, low visibility, and ice. The Stockton Police Department posted photos of a flooded railroad underpass and a car that appeared stalled in more than a foot, 30 centimeters, of water. The rain was welcomed in drought-parched California, but much more precipitation is needed to make a significant difference. The past 3 years have been California's driest on record. A winter storm warning was in effect into Sunday for the upper elevations of the Sierra from south of Yosemite National Park to north of Lake Tahoe, where as much as 5 feet, 1.5 meters, of snow is possible atop the mountains, the National Weather Service said in Reno, Nevada. A flood watch was in effect across much of Northern California through New Year's Eve. Officials warned that rivers and streams could overflow and urged residents to get sandbags ready. Some rainfall totals in the San Francisco Bay Area topped 4 inches, 10 centimeters. The State Transportation Agency reported numerous road closures, including Highway 70 east of Chico, which was partially closed by a slide, and the northbound side of Highway 49, east of Sacramento, which was closed because of flooding. In El Dorado County, east of Sacramento, a stretch of Highway 50 was closed because of flooding. Humboldt County, where a 6.4 magnitude earthquake struck on December 20th, also saw roadways begin to flood, according to the National Weather Service's Eureka office. A bridge that was temporarily closed last week due to earthquake damage may be closed again if the Eel River, which it crosses, gets too high, officials said. It was the first of several storms expected to roll across California over the next week. The current system is expected to be warmer and wetter, while next week's storms will be colder, said Hannah Chandler Cooley, a meteorologist at the National Weather Service in Sacramento. The Sacramento region could receive a total of 4 to 5 inches, 10 to 13 centimeters, of rain over the span of the week, Chandler Cooley said. Strong winds could cause tree damage and lead to power outages, and high waves on Lake Tahoe may capsize small vessels, the Weather Service in Reno said. Avalanche warnings were issued in the backcountry around Lake Tahoe and Mammoth Lake south of Yosemite. On the Sierra's eastern front, flood watches and warnings were issued into the weekend north and south of Reno, Nevada, where minor to moderate flooding was forecast along some rivers and streams. In Southern California, moderate to heavy rain was falling Saturday. The region will begin drying out on New Year's Day, with no rainfall expected during Monday's Rose Parade in Pasadena. Another round of heavy showers was forecast for Tuesday or Wednesday. The National Weather Service in Oxnard said. As the new year begins, California's Sierra is closing in on the second largest snowpack we've seen at this time of year in the last 2 decades, with more snow expected to pummel the mountain range in the coming days. But here's why it's far too soon to declare an end to the drought. Last year, we started 2022 with a similar bounty, and then ended the snow season way below normal. We've come out hot. But at the same time, it's really early, said Sean de Guzman, manager of the California Department of Water Resources' monthly snow surveys. On Tuesday, state water officials plan to tromp through the snow at Echo Summit, south of Lake Tahoe, for the winter's first snowpack survey, a monthly ritual that is now mostly for show thanks to more than 100 sensors throughout the Sierra that measure accumulation every day. It's of vital importance in the drought-stricken Golden State because officials use the measurements to help manage California's water supply, which relies heavily on melting snow. On Saturday, the statewide average stood at a whopping 162% of normal compared to historic averages for this time of year, just eclipsing last year's figure. But a Bay Area News Group analysis found that of the 7 times in the last 20 years that California started the new year with an above-average snowpack, only twice, 2005 and 2011, did it finish the snow season in April still above average. Several feet of snow is expected to accumulate by early next week as yet another storm system plows in from the Pacific, bringing colder temperatures and additional rain to the Bay Area on Monday night. It's just far too early to tell whether or not these storms will have an impact on the drought, said Andrew Schwartz, lead scientist at the UC Berkeley Central Sierra Snow Laboratory near Donner Summit. We were in this exact same spot last year. We were way above average, and then the faucet shut off in January through March. Last year, the Sierra snowpack plummeted from 160% of normal at the end of 2021 to 37% of normal by the season's end. The last time California closed a snow season above average was in 2019, at 161% of normal, after ending the previous year at just 73% of normal. There is no reliable way to predict what's in store for the next 4 months. If the faucet does again shut off, many of the state's reservoirs will be left mostly empty. As of Friday, 2 of California's largest reservoirs, Shasta and Oroville, were only at 1/3 of their capacity. And the snowpack, though considerable for this time of year, is still only half of what's considered normal by April 1st, the end of a typical California snow season. Jay Lund, professor of civil and environmental engineering at UC Davis, says that several years of drought have left the reservoirs in a deficit that may take years to refill. If we had just 1 year of drought, we'd be okay, Lund said. But, we still haven't even replenished all the groundwater that was taken out from the previous drought. Regardless of what happens this season, the long-term prospects are dire. As more carbon dioxide is emitted into the atmosphere by fossil fuel use, drought conditions are expected to worsen in the coming decades. One study published in February found that 2000 to 2021 was the driest 22-year period in the western U.S. in at least the last 1,200 years. The study also found approximately 19% of the region's drought conditions were attributable to human-caused climate change.
Oops. Holy. It's just a gust. It's here.
Hasn't been that much lately. That's good. rain.